Suppose there are new test cases coming. What are the modifications you'll do? The first thing you'll do is, suppose, okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say my application has the feature of comparing two different order so that you can compare the prices. Okay, so let's say my fourth test case, this is the new test case which I'm adding, compare order, and this will have login obviously. Let's say it as search order functionality, then compare order. Once you have searched the order, you're comparing it with other orders, compare orders functionality, and log out. Okay, so this is the new test case which has come up. So let's see what are the changes you need to do to the framework in order to achieve your goal. So we have the keywords. Now one thing you'll notice is, out of the 4 functionalities, 3 of the functionalities are repeating, that is login, search order, and logout. So you don't have to do anything for that. You just have to change this thing, compare order. You have to add a new functionality, that is compare order. So first thing what we'll do is we'll go to our keyword function library. Here we'll add a new function, that is compare order. Okay, once you have added this function compare order, what we'll do is, if you go step by step, if you go in the reverse fashion, I know that this is the last thing that happens in execution, but if you go in the reverse fashion, then you'll see that which function is calling compare order. Your compare order is called by execute flow function. Okay, so you have to add a new if else if. Okay, flow name equal to compare order. Okay, so we are just going in the reverse fashion so that we understand what are the modifications we have to do. Now I got the flow name compare order which I am comparing over here, and once I enter if compare order if, then it will call fn compare order. Okay, okay, so once this is done, let's see where is the flow name coming from. The flow name is coming from fn read keywords. Okay, so where do we get the flow name? We got from the fn read keywords, but how do we get the flow name? By taking the test case name. So this function does nothing but it takes the test case name and it will pick out the flow name, that is the keywords. So these keywords are picked in fn read keywords by using the test case name, so we don't have to make any changes to this. Okay, so now one thing at this point of time I would like to explain you is why I have kept it in keywords generic function. I have kept this function in separate function library because you don't have to make any changes to this no matter how many test cases you had to your script. Okay, so it is not dependent on the application. If the application is changing, there's some new application, there's new functionality, you don't have to make any changes to the script, and therefore I've kept it in a separate function library, that is keyword underscore generic function. Now let's see where I'm getting test case name from. Right, I got my keywords from my test case name, and where am I getting test case name from? From the main test, which I have not created yet. Okay, so I have to just copy paste from any of the existing test. Say for example from create order I am copying. I'll create a new test and just paste it. Okay, so my fn read keywords is getting the test case name from sname, and my sname is taking the value from the environment variable. And for the environment variable to take the name exactly same as in this format, that is compare space order, I need to save my test case with that name, that is in this format, compare space order. Okay, so when I went in a reverse fashion, I understood where all I have to make the changes, right? So this was one of the way. Now, as I said, we can always improvise on our script. like I said, by adding the environment variable, I removed the hard-coded value of the script name. Now let's see what other changes can I make. Now this is my sheet which is having the test case name, the functionality and the test case flow. Now suppose there are 100 test cases, or say suppose there are 500 test cases. So what will be the number of lines in this? If every test case has approximately 3 functionalities, then just imagine that there will be 1500 lines to this Excel sheet. Okay, so there's no problem with that. We can add 1500 lines to our Excel sheet. Now actual problem exists over here. The function which verifies each and every row of my sample sheet, and based on the test case name, it fetches the keywords. And which is that function? It is fn read keywords. It takes the test case name, it loops in every row. As you know that there are 1500 rows, so the for value will be IR1 to 1500, which is not advisable. So what we can do is we can add one more row, execute. What this row will do is, suppose I just want to execute compare order, rest I don't want to execute anything. So let's say I put this no. Okay, and compare order I want to execute, I'll put this as yes. Okay, so instead of so in our present scenario, what script will do is it will check each and every row. Suppose compare order is in 1500 lines, so it will check the first 1450 or 400, close to 1496 lines, which will take a pretty much amount of time, and then it will find compare order and then it will execute. So this is not advisable. So what we'll do is we'll put a simple for loop, if loop, which will compare this. Now the advantage of this is, suppose I don't want to run everything. I have a set of test cases, say 4 test cases in my case, and I just want to run 2 of the test cases, that is say compare order and update order. So what I have to do is I just need to put yes over here. So only these 2 test cases will be executed, the rest of the test cases will be ignored. And this can be achieved by using a simple if loop, if condition. This you can try on your own, because a lot of things have been explained to you. So once you understand the coding part, you can try on your own. So there's always a way to improvise on this. You can always think of different ways. Now, as I spoke to you earlier about hybrid framework, now this is a simple keyword driven framework. Now obviously if I want to execute something, I'll need the data for it. So as I said, suppose I'm executing compare order, I'm calling the test case name and I'm passing it over here to my fn read keywords, and I'm executing login. Now we need a sheet which needs to pass data to it, right? So for different functionality, we can add a separate, we can use a separate Excel. Okay, this is our Excel. We can use a separate sheet which has the data for different functionalities. Say for example, I can give the name login for my fn login. Let's say I give the name as functionality fn login, and I can have the data for this, username, password. Okay, and I can have suppose multiple values over here. So what my script will do is, my login functionality will take the values from this sheet and it will run for the different values. Okay, so what this signifies is, by using data driven framework, that is multiple data for a single functionality along with the keyword framework. So in this way we have achieved hybrid framework, which is combination of more than two or more frameworks. So this is how you improvise on a script. Once your framework is developed based on your requirement, you can always think about what you can do. It is not necessary to add hybrid framework to your keyword framework. I gave you this as an example wherein there are multiple data which needs to be verified for a single functionality. In that case, we can add data-driven framework to our keyword framework, and we can convert it into a hybrid framework. So for understanding framework, you need to create on your own, and you need to practice a lot, because this is important, and as well as it could be a bit confusing at times, because you need some source to create the framework. Not like coding, it's not about 10 lines of coding, or so you just need to create a skeleton of it in order to understand